Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror movie, and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2007's Vacancy, which was directed by Nimrod Antal. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Erik.
We're back! 301. We did it.
We're back. The boys are back.
Yeah, so rolling into the 300s here, 301st episode. It's kind of cool. Vacancy. This is the first time you've seen this, right?
Yeah.
I saw this in theaters. I remember I was working, I think it was at Hoyt's. And I was working at Hoyt's when this came out, and I saw it, and I remembered liking it when I was younger. It's okay now.
Yeah, I think I started at Hoyt's after this came out. I think I started in 2007 in like May.
Oh, Hoyt's is a movie theater, in case anybody doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a movie theater, but I think this came out in April, so I must have came in right as this was coming out. I didn't see it. This is my first time. Your thoughts, Alec? What are your thoughts?
Not as good as I remembered, but, you know, after like the first 40 minutes, it's pretty much nonstop. So you're pretty engaged once you kind of figure out what's going on, and in the first like 40 minutes, you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But yeah, it's not as good as I remembered. It's not as good. But I don't know. What did you think first time, 32 years old?
It was good. A lot of things have been done before. It's a quick movie. You know, it's a movie you could watch with your friends, like coming home from a bar, like put it on. Let's put this movie on. We'll fall asleep by the end of it.
You guys want to watch a snuff movie?
Yeah. No, but it's a downer. This movie's sad, but it ends with a bit of hope. I'll put it that way. Like a cool amount of hope, but like almost unrealistic hope, but happens.
Well, just in case anybody hasn't seen the movie, which I'm assuming most people haven't, but fill you in a little bit. So it's about a couple that's driving through random California, like, you know, Northern California, and they're on some back roads, cars acting up, they're going through a divorce, they're not happy with one another, and they find this gas station where their car breaks down. As a result, this guy fixes it, the car breaks down, and they stay at this really shitty motel in the middle of nowhere. And we find out they're the only guests at this motel. They've got a creepy guy running it, and it turns out that this place is basically the stage for snuff films. So they kill whoever goes in there, and then they sell the videotapes to truckers, anybody that stops by and knows about this. So that's basically the movie. We got David and Amy. They're the two characters, Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. And it's just about them surviving this motel until morning as three people try to kill them. And
we learned that the reason why they're getting a divorce is they can't live with the fact that they had a child who passed away.
Right.
Young. The poor kid fall down the stairs? I think I heard that. What did you pick up? Was that it?
I don't know. I know they had a son. He died, and it seems like the father is trying to move on, but is trying to stay positive about it, and Amy, the wife, is like just a mess.
Just a mean person. I think, yeah, like you said, Luke Wilson was trying to like at least make it tolerable, especially since they are getting divorced. Like just make it like an experience where it's like we can just fizzle out instead of like hurt everything he is doing, from opening the window and like going a certain way. Man, I think he says a line at one point where she's like, "Why didn't you stay on the interstate?" And he says something like, "Because I wanted to see how big of a bitch you could be." That's why it was like, dude, I was like, wow, I felt that, and he delivered that line like intense.
Yeah. No, I mean they're clearly going. Yeah, they're not going to be together anymore.
Ooh. If I said that to Shannon, like, hey, like Shannon, like, and I are going like, "Look, why'd you get off the highway?" It's like, well, I just wanted to see how big of a pain in the ass he'd be about me getting off the highway. Like, I wouldn't be living in the Vacancy hotel. I'd be dead on arrival to the hotel.
Yeah, and like, especially if it's completely out of nowhere, if you just say that to your like significant other, they'd be like, what the fuck?
He put up with a lot, though. I gotta say, like, she was really hitting him with every button, and he's trying his best he's like taking pills to stay awake driving while she's taking pills to fall asleep. And he's like, I've been trying to fucking get us there, and you're sleeping the whole time. You wake up and you give me shit for trying to find a way. And like, he's trying to have her co-pilot, but she's asleep. They don't have GPS. It's 2007.
They might have a TomTom.
They might, but it didn't look like it.
Yeah, no, you're right. They didn't.
Didn't look like it. Maybe they had a rental, you know, and you see the map. They're using a map.
Yeah, and they have shitty cell phones.
It's tough to drive, though, with a map. Because you got to pull over, look at the map, figure it out. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2007. Different time. But TomToms, yeah.
No iPhone. Then they like Blackberries maybe, but I don't think those had GPS on them. So anyways, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of friction going on with this couple, and they get to a gas station, and luckily some guy is actually still there. And dude, did you recognize who that guy is?
No, he looked very familiar though. Who is that?
His name is Ethan Embry or whatever, but he's the guy in the beginning of Harold and Kumar who gives the work to Harold right in the beginning.
Why don't you have some guy? Why don't you have some guy do it for you?
Yeah, that guy.
Like the friend. Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
I would have never picked that up.
I don't know why. That's probably the only thing I've ever seen him in. But I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. But yeah, so he's the mechanic or whatever who intentionally.
He's like the positivity that Luke Wilson needed at the time. He's very nice, very kind. Helps them out, but we find out later. Ooh, Alec, what did we find out?
He broke their car and stole her apple. So I mean, he's the killer.
He's one of the truckers that like get the tapes and stuff.
No, he's one of the killers.
Yeah, but he's involved in the whole thing, so he probably watches the tape afterwards.
Sure, they all watch the tapes, but I'm saying
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's not one of the truckers that buys them. He's one of the guys that commits the murders. He's
yes,
part of
and that's why he's not helping them. He's like, "Oh, you'll make it."
Oh, yeah.
And like Luke Wilson, like 10 minutes after leaving the place, the car breaks down. He's like, "Oh, fuck, this is what happens."
The second Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale pulled away, that guy called Frank Whaley and was like, "Looks like Spider caught another fly."
I know. Yeah. True.
Yeah, so then
there's no surprise there.
No.
Yeah.
So it's very like Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like you don't want to go down that road, or like, it's whatever. So they meet at a gas station, car breaks down, they end up having to walk back to this motel. They walk into the lobby, and that's where you see Frank Whaley, who's like, "Look at the big brains on bread." That's that guy.
Before that, yeah, that's the big brains.
It's from Pulp Fiction.
Before that, he hands her a sparkler
mm-hmm.
at a gas station, Alec.
Mm.
You don't do sparklers at a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
You don't smoke cigarettes at a gas station.
I was going to say, that's all.
You're going to blow that shit up. Like, I wouldn't trust that guy. I'd be like, if I was Luke Wilson, I'd be like, "You're giving me a sparkler right now? At a gas station? That's a terrible idea." How's that? Was that a decent impression?
That's a better Owen Wilson impression.
I know! I tried Luke. He's so difficult.
Yeah, he doesn't have as much of a distinctive voice.
But where do you get off? Kind of like voice almost. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Texas accent that's trying to hide it.
Wow, yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
But the sparkler thing, I think, and I don't know, but I think that the reason they did that is so that Frank Whaley knew that somebody was coming. Maybe that's the only thing I could think of. It's like, oh, this car has a sparkler.
Yeah. She drops it with. I mean, a sparkler lasts like a minute.
Yeah.
So she dropped it probably a minute, but I think maybe it's his way of saying they're actually going the direction we want them to go.
Right.
Like he's watching it in the night, and then like after a minute, he's like, "They're actually going to go that way."
Totally.
Maybe you have something there. Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of because I was thinking that too. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, why?
It's dangerous. You're going to blow up the whole gas station, and that wasn't a good gas station. That was like one that probably has leaky gas.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. They don't even change the prices. They're like, those prices aren't accurate or whatever. It's like, geez, this is a mess. This place. But anyway, so they get to the motel. Their car's broken. They walk from their car to the motel. They see the manager, who's this really creepy guy. Frank Whaley's the actor. He is from Pulp Fiction. He's a big brains on bread guy. And he's really creepy. He's listening to what sounds like, if you or I were watching it, it'd be like, oh, they're watching a horror movie. But like, no, they're watching a snuff film. He's watching a snuff film in another room. So we just hear blood-curdling screams, and they think it's a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. No.
Yeah.
So they end up getting a room at this motel.
After awkward moments of like the dimes and exact change and just like I've been exhausted at the airport before and dealing with people. You keep a calm thing. The receptionist always knows these people are tired. Like, let's just get this over with as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
This guy is making it a very pain in the ass scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke Wilson's like on the verge of snapping, but he keeps his composure the whole time. And if I can put myself in this scenario, I'd be like, okay, I'm not getting a room from you, but I'm going to go sleep in my car. And if you want to tow me, because I could use a tow. That's what I'd do.
That's a good idea.
And I'd sleep in my car outside, and he'd probably tow me, and it's like, great, that's exactly what I needed.
He'd kill you, but, if it were not...
Well, yeah, yeah. But that's what I would do. I would not give this guy a penny of my money. This guy's a dick.
Yeah. It is kind of bullshit, though, just to begin with. Like, you're going to tell me there's no phone. I mean, there is a phone. He's lying. But, like, what kind of fucking motel that only has a pay phone? Like, come on.
That's not true. You don't have a phone? You're a business? Yeah. You don't have a phone?
Yeah.
Really? It's like, well, it's only for me. It's like, come on, man. Like,
right. That's bullshit.
And a payphone that runs on dimes and it doesn't, and like not only that, but doesn't it like not work?
It works, but it calls. Well, I guess it's I don't know. It's part of this whole act.
But doesn't he do the transaction with the dimes? And he's like, oh, by the way, like the business. Oh, that was it. It's like the business is closed anyway, so you're gonna use the payphone.
But then he uses the payphone later, and it does.
Well, why don't you fucking tell me that before I do this dime transaction?
Yeah, I think Frank Whaley was just trying to make them uncomfortable, but it is a little weird because you're like, what if they leave? Like that's who you want for.
I think he might have been testing them to see how desperate they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably would have just slept in my car and never even gone to the motel, but again, I don't know.
You have to be at a place where you could get out, because you never know. You could be, if they're on the side of the road still, they could be there for days. So you had to at least get to a place.
Yeah, but it's just a really, really shitty set of circumstances. And it's all just luck. I mean, they just happen to be in this part of the area when their car starts acting up. Like, you know, that didn't have to happen. Or when they ran out of gas, whatever it was that got them to this gas station.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go into the room after that whole weird interaction. They get in there, and you know it's disgusting. There's like cockroaches and like stains and just like the fucking worst room ever. And they start hearing banging on the door.
On multiple doors.
Yeah.
Like they have like 3 doors connected to this room. Mm-hmm. Probably like interconnected rooms. But yeah.
Super
And
loud.
it's like, how late is it? It must be like midnight at this point, right? Or like 1 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're probably exhausted, miserable. And also, the thing about the divorce too, they were coming home from a family party where they had to pretend they were still together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're probably having the worst night ever together.
Yep. And they said they shared her twin-size bed at her parents'. I'm like, this fucking sucks. 2 adults sharing a twin-size bed. Anyways, yeah. So
2 adults.
They're miserable. Their kid's dead. They're getting divorced. They're fucking stuck in the middle of nowhere. Like, things aren't going well.
Tired.
Yeah.
They have apples that don't, you know, they have apples and that's it. Like,
shit's not going good.
It's a shitty scenario. Shit is bad.
So
yeah.
The one line, though, that's kind of funny, which when I was a kid, when I saw this in theaters, I always thought Luke Wilson was talking about something different. And then watching it this time, I was like, oh. When he gets on the bed and Kate Beckinsale goes, you're not going to watch that, are you? And he's like, I need something to relax. I always thought he was going to jerk off. That's what I thought he was saying he was going to do. He's like, I'm going to like watch porn and jerk off. Is that what you got from it?
No, I literally got like, I just need to like unwind for like 5 minutes. That's all I got.
When I was a 17-year-old, I was like, oh, he needs to jerk off. I get it.
Yeah, because his wife is definitely not giving him anything.
That's really what I thought, dude. And then I was watching this movie. I was like, did I make that line up? Like, did that not happen? And then it was like,
That's so funny. Like, what are you going to like jerk off in front of your like wife that hates you? Like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. That's a whole nother layer.
Yeah, so
like, and I'm like all casual about it. Like I need to unwind. What did you say? I need to relax.
That's what I was like.
Dude. No, that's not what he meant.
I know. I was like 17, and I was like, oh, his wife's definitely not giving it to him. The guy needs to jerk off. What are you gonna do? And
oh my god,
that's really what I thought. But anyway, so yeah, so they finally they go and talk to the Frank Whaley, and they're like, yo, there's somebody banging all over our doors. Like, what's going on? He says that it's like kids that snuck in or whatever. He'll take care of it. And then they go back to the room. They're like, hey, it's okay. And then they start watching the videotapes. And they find that the videotapes are snuff films that take place in the room that they're in. And that's when the movie completely is like, okay, here we go. And from that point forward, it's pretty much nonstop. This shit keeps happening to these people.
Yeah, it takes a while to get there, like 35, 40 minutes, right? Almost.
Yeah, it's about 40. I think it's like 45 minutes into the movie is finally when shit really starts happening.
And then it's edge of your seat shit for the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really cool. I mean, there's 3 killers. They're all at this motel, and they're all trying to kill, Kate Beckinsale and Luke Wilson. There's like a couple doors, but they're all locked pretty much, and then there's one window which is nailed shut, and it's super tiny, so they can't really get out of that. So they're pretty much trapped.
Right, and there's also a whole underground tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Like loophole. It almost felt like an escape room where they found out, okay, so the apple was in the bathroom. How did someone get in the bathroom if the window was nailed shut? And Luke Wilson sees like under the rug or the bath mat, like there's a door. They go down there. And it's cool how that unfolds. But also Luke Wilson, you get this vibe from him that he's looking at this as his last chance of being a husband, but also the last chance of like doing something right and potentially winning his Kate Beckinsale back. Because I think whatever happened to the child was not his, I'm sure it wasn't his fault, but she blames him. So I think he put. I think I remember something about falling down the stairs.
I thought it was the other way. I thought she did it, and she blames herself, and he's like, "It's not your fault." Like that's what I thought happened.
That might have been it too, but maybe this is maybe it's that. Maybe this is just his way of saying like, I don't know. I got that, and I kind of like that angle. Like, usually you're with like a couple, like a young teenage couple that are in it together. This is a couple that hates each other, and they decide to like bond back together to survive.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept. I like that.
You know what sucks, man, is did you ever see The Strangers?
Similar to this, I've never seen The Strangers. It's the one with the masks and stuff, right?
Yeah, it came out
Very similar.
not even a year after this. I think it was 2008, and it could even be 2007, but I'm pretty sure it was 2008. And it's like very similar to this, but the marketing was better. It just because that movie's very similar. It's about a couple that's coming from something. They're clearly getting divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trapped in this cabin or whatever, and then strangers start coming and attacking them. Very similar to this. But if you like that angle, if you like the like, a couple that's like about to break up, but like this can bring them back together sort of thing, then you might want to check that one out, because I hate to say it, but it's a better movie. It really is.
Strangers is a better movie?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I mean, like, look at, like, there's Deep Impact, Armageddon, White Earp, Tombstone. There's so many, like, movies that came out around the same time that I think Knocked Up did a good job with their, didn't they do something in Knocked Up where they were going to do, like, a porn site that, like, lets you know the movies, and there's already, like, a thing?
Yeah, Mr. Skin.
And then he learns, like, well, best things coming, too. Like, White Earp and Tombstone.
Right.
Like, so, like, Strangers and Vacancy is another one, you know?
Yeah, and I just think, I don't know, Vacancy it just flew under the radar. Like, I liked it when I saw it, but I don't remember anybody I talked to having seen it, and I feel like I've never talked to anybody about this movie until right now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Before we get into it further, one name that popped up, and I like the opening credit scenes. It was like text that like kind of like warped around. It was cool. It was a really cool opening.
The most Hitchcock thing I've ever seen in my life.
Very, very Hitchcockian. But I saw Paul Hasslinger is the music credit, and I'm like, oh shit, I know that name. And that's he's done like all the like early 2000s music, like for movies we watched, like Girl Next Door, and I can't think of other ones like
Turistas.
Yeah, he did Turistas.
Yeah, he did Turistas.
Yeah, dude, he has like a good like synth kind of like Tangerine Dream vibe. I think he was in Tangerine Dream too. So
Blue Crush.
Yeah, dude, he's I like his music a lot. He also did The Wolfman. Remember we did The Wolfman. We talked about him as well doing that.
Dude, he does The Walking Dead.
Yeah, no, he's good, man. Yeah. He's fucking good. So that was the name that I just saw, and I was like, oh shit, that just tied in a new layer to my knowledge.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sorry.
I remember that.
He does Fear the Walking Dead, not Walking Dead. Sorry, but yeah, that's cool. That's what I like about visiting movies, especially from the 2000s, because like we were of age when these were coming out. Like we were alive in the 90s, you know. Obviously,
well, here's the thing. It's tough today to see everything coming out because we're so busy. But when we were like 13, we saw every movie that came out. Everything almost. Like every movie.
I'm not even exaggerating. I worked at Hoyt's from 2006 to 2012. I'm literally not kidding. I think I saw every single movie that went into that theater. Like, even if it was shit, like I still saw it. Like that No Reservation movie with Aaron Eckhart. Fuck that movie. But I saw that movie because I could.
Like Good Luck Chuck. Saw Good Luck Chuck at Hoyt's. Like there's so many movies that like I would never have watched if I didn't work at a movie theater.
Yeah, but this was one of them.
Rush Hour 3? I probably would have saw Rush Hour 3 if I didn't.
Yeah, I saw Rush Hour 3 in theaters when I worked there, yeah. It was 2007.
Across the Universe? I never would have watched Across the Universe. I'm just thinking of, like, The Departed. Departed was there.
I have the Mylar of The Departed still. Yeah, dude.
From Hoyt's. Hell yeah, dude.
But Vacancy was one that I did see, and I think I saw like by myself. I was like, fuck it. It was probably in the small theater they had because people weren't seeing it, and I was like, I'll see this. And I liked it. And coming back now, it was like, it's fine.
The underground thing was great, too. I'm going to just keep going. But the underground thing was great because it made me feel like when you're a kid and you're in, like, the McDonald's, like, play places and someone's chasing you. Like, I got that feel from it.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than being in a tunnel where you can't turn around and someone's right behind you.
Well, and there's rats all over the ground. They have to crawl through the rats as they're running, too.
And a bitching wife that won't stop.
That's even worse than the rats. No.
Yeah, Luke Wilson's like, come on, honey. We're almost there. You gotta keep going.
All right, I'll say this. Maybe if it was me and a rat in my face, I'd be like, okay, I hate rats. But I'm not that afraid of rats. Is there an animal where if you were in that situation, you're like, I genuinely don't think I could do that if that animal is right there?
I mean, a poisonous snake. It'd be like, what's the fucking point?
What's
Do I
the
let this
fucking
thing?
point?
I mean, bees. I could just fight through bees. I could fight through mice. I don't care about mice and
Yeah.
rats. I don't give a shit. Rats are like, they could probably really bite you, and you're gonna get a disease.
But if you're moving quick, like if you're like punching,
bugs don't bother me. Spiders, like webs, would freak me out more than actual spiders. I feel like I would take my shirt off and just like fucking just pound the spiders as I go through them. But I'm just picturing I'm really vividly picturing myself.
Your shirt's off, you're like punching spiders.
Well, like imagine there's like 1,000 spiders like on the ground. It's like, all right, take my shirt off and just like fucking just and just like cover my hands at least so I don't get like my skin bit. But
tarantulas,
webs would freak me out. Tarantulas wouldn't freak me out more than like black widows. Like tarantulas, I'm like, okay, they bite and it's like a bee sting. They don't kill you. But if it was like rattlesnakes and cobras, I'd be like, dude, like, I think I would just lay down and be like, all right, guys, just like, can you just make it quick, like.
I'm just trying to imagine Frank Whaley be like, let's put cobras down there. Nobody will mess with us.
I mean, that would have been a cool concept too if he's like, oh, release the cobra shit.
Release the cobras.
Like, yeah, he could have done that. They could have went there. It's like, oh, damn, they're in the tunnels. It's like, all right, let's cobra them out.
Let's get the cobras. They stick the cobras down there. Oh, God.
No. Other part to it, though, the underground shit was cool and added layer, and it made it, like, a more in-depth movie.
Just so people, if they don't know what we're talking about, they find an underground, like, latch in the bathroom of the room.
Yeah, I was saying that under the bath mat, yeah.
And then they can crawl throughout all the motel.
Yeah, it's, like, all interconnected. But the other thing I liked was that Luke Wilson is about to, like, sneak out. He leaves his wife, like, in the ceiling. They're very hidden at this point, but he's like, I'm going to try to get out. He immediately gets, like, violently stabbed and drops. Mm-hmm. And then time goes by, Kate Beckinsale gets out and murders the main guy, the hotel manager, Big Brain of Bread. And it still has to get out from other guys, and she manages to kill everyone else off. It's morning at this point, and you're thinking Luke Wilson is long gone at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's so corny because it's like, this would never happen if you got stabbed like that. Because you're the puddle of blood from that kind of stab, you'd bleed out. Like that definitely hit a ton. That definitely hit your intestine at least, probably your kidney, possibly your liver. So you're gonna bleed out. She goes up to him and like they call the cops. Obviously a cop was killed too, so the cops are gonna be there soon. But he's still alive, and it's like, man, there's hope in him living. And there's hope in their marriage, and I kind of like that idea that Luke Wilson like fought so hard to stay alive because he knew like his marriage was still alive at that point, which was a cool idea, and it was like kind of a nice ending, a happy ending at least. Still sad that their son's dead, but yeah.
Yeah, let me do this. I don't think they're gonna get back together after this.
No, you don't. No. I think they're gonna get back together and realize like if we can survive this, we can survive anything.
I mean, I'm sure their marriage had other issues that were beyond, like, we can survive murders together. Like, I'm sure they have other marital problems that led to this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right now, yeah, that's a good point. Like, right now, everything's great and grand and wonderful. Like, they survived. Next week, Kate Beckinsale's going to be like, oh, this is why we should have stayed on the interstate.
You didn't pay the taxes again. Great. We're right back where we were.
If we stayed on the interstate, we wouldn't even be in that situation. Right. He's like, God damn, there was a raccoon. It wasn't a squirrel, it was a raccoon.
That's what happened there. You saw a raccoon, right? No, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, for this moment, I'm sure she's like, I'm so happy you're not dead. But yeah, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, or whatever, it's still going to be the same old bullshit. You know, like, oh, you're getting drunk again, Luke Wilson? There's always it's the same old shit's going to happen. But yeah, that's the other thing. And I know I won't ruin it, but Strangers, it's, yeah. Anyways,
yeah, we'll put that on the wheel and we'll bring this back up and we'll compare it. But
no, but this one's fun. It's especially the first time you see it. Once you've seen it once, you're kind of like, okay, I don't need to see this again. Because even me seeing it like 15 years later, I was like, I feel like I remember almost everything. Because it's pretty straightforward. I mean, once you've seen it once, like you're really not missing anything.
It is on the rinse and repeat side of things, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Luke Wilson did a good job. I think Kate Beckinsale did a good job. Frank Whaley, everybody did a good job. You know, it wasn't that. It was well shot. It's just kind of like, yeah, it flew under the radar. They did make a prequel the year later, which I didn't see, but it was called First first cut, I think, and it's supposed to be like how this all got started. Which
The
actually,
first video. Okay.
that sounds kind of interesting to like see how this whole thing got set up.
Yeah, and it looks like it was about a $20 million budget and it made $35 million.
Okay.
So it made minus marketing probably like $10 million.
Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. I kind of liked it. It was also, dude, 85 minutes. You don't see that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Very quick, very in and out, and
that is in and out. Bada bing, bada boom.
one thing I will say, which sounds fucking crazy, which I'm like, who thought this would be a good idea to put on this? But in 2007, when the DVD and Blu-ray came out, one of the featurettes on the Blu-ray is the full versions of the snuff films.
Do you need that?
Who would want to watch that? Because the snuff films in the movie, like, obviously they're fake, they're real actors or whatever, but, you know, you see Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale watching these snuff films, and they look fucking terrifying. They look like they're really people getting murdered or whatever. And for some reason, somebody's like, you know, we should put on the Blu-ray, the special features, like, just the snuff films. Someone's like, that's a great idea. I don't know. I think that's, like, that's too much.
You know why? Because that's like a way to do it. Like, obviously the actors in those fake snuff films aren't getting killed, but, like, I guess people that are in the snuff films are like, jackpot, let's get this Blu-ray.
Ugh, that's fucked up.
That's like, when snuff films, they're just literally just movies of people getting killed, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's homicide.
Yeah.
That's messed up. I don't know who the hell watches that.
Well, they kind of give us a glimpse into the kind of people that watch that truck driver. He pulls up and...
Like truckers and... Yeah, jeez.
I mean... Yeah, this is, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure you can find shit like this on the internet, but this is pre-internet.
I think the government needs to look at who bought the Blu-ray with these special features in 2014 when they released the Blu-ray with the snuff films and kind of do like a little background check.
That was 2007.
Uh-huh.
And the last thing that I kind of found a little interesting is when this was coming out, the advertising strategy for the film made use of the internet as well as toll-free phone numbers. So there was a phone number you could call, and Frank Whaley would actually pick up, and you could hear screaming in the background, and he would talk about slashing prices and killer deals that the motel currently has.
Interesting. You don't. That probably could be one of the first that did that with like television film. I can't think of. Probably there's others.
Well, you call a phone number and it answers, and Frank Whaley talks. And apparently, dude, it ran from 2007 to 2015. So, like, you could call it.
Oh, they didn't pay for the number anymore? They're not upping the number?
Who's going to call that? Like, I want to call that Vacancy guy right now. Yeah, I don't know.
Shit.
But anyways, I thought those little tidbits were interesting. I don't know.
I also saw, I read that Sarah Jessica Parker was possibly going to do the role of Kate Beckinsale, but they got Kate Beckinsale instead. So would have been a different movie with Sarah Jessica Parker.
I think she would have done fine.
Kate Beckinsale did a good job being like a frigid bitch. Like, come on, let's be real. She was mean to Luke Wilson.
Yeah, in this instance, she was mean, but I'm trying to put myself in, like, I'm losing everything right now.
That, you're coming off of like a Zoloft nap.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's a mess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm playing devil's advocate here. Yeah, she was not a pleasant woman, but I don't know if I'd be super happy if I was in her shoes. I don't know. I mean, but then you look in the mirror, you're like, I am Kate Beckinsale. And you're like, yeah, my life's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine, Kate Beckinsale. But no, I finished this movie. I'm like, man, I was just like, I'm glad I'm not that. Like, I was very like, oof, like that is a tough film to like watch and put yourself in that scenario.
Have you ever watched a horror movie and you're like, I'm glad I'm not? I mean, like,
no, but like most horror movies, like at least like you get a like, you know, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of bad stuff going on in this movie that just sucks.
Yeah, you never want to be in the situation for sure. But anyways, you got any last minute thoughts on Vacancy?
Should have the Cobras. Should have the Cobras.
But I mean, I guess they want to see people dying. That's the whole point of it. They want to film that. Yeah. If Cobras are just killing people, it's like, well, fuck.
Put the cameras down in the tunnel too.
And just watch Cobras biting people. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. What makes me scared is like places like this probably exist too. Like this is even worse.
Yeah. So probably. Well, anyways, what do you say you spin the wheel there, Erik?
I say we shall. All right, spinning. Oh no shit. Black phone.
Black phone, nice. Okay, cool.
Is it the black phone or black phone?
I don't know.
It's black.
I haven't seen it actually. I know it's Stephen King's son wrote it, and it's supposedly really good. I know Ethan Hawke's in it. I haven't seen it though, so
Sweet.
We have Dominic Berger coming back because it's I don't know, it's not a Stephen King book.
Somehow linked to Stephen King. I got you.
Yeah, so he'll be back as our guest. I think he read it, so sweet. Well, everybody, thank you very much for listening into our episode today on Vacancy. If you haven't had a chance, we did Creepshow 2 last week for our 300th episode, and this upcoming Monday we will have Black Phone, or The Black Phone, whatever it is, I don't know.
New movie too, right? It came out recently?
It is a newer movie, yeah. So
awesome. All right. See everyone for a 302 episode. All right.
See you guys then.